Can you tell us about the time you ran into some trouble in Moreno Valley?
Oh my God, yeah. Uh, we went to these ledge over gaps. We were skating. This was probably filming for um, LRG video, and we went to these ledge over gaps at like this park in Moreno Valley. Chad Timtim skates them in a time to shine. He does like a line to like switchback tail big spin. They're like super buttery ledge over gaps, and for whatever reason, we go at the end of the day, and it looks like it's a super nice neighborhood, right? Young and dumb and not like thinking like, oh, like we're in Moreno Valley, whatever, could be sketchy. We're messing around with the spot. We're like, all right, cool, let's just light it up. There's kids at the park and stuff like this, but it gets dark. Everybody kind of leaves, light up the spot, trying a trick. I forget what I was trying. There was a couple of us skating, and there's like a group of dudes, like just they were chilling there even in the daylight before we got there, but they're just kicking on the table. We have lights, generator. One homie has the HPX with the extreme, and there was probably about 5 or 6 of us. And for whatever reason, we're like, all right, cool, like we're over it, it's dark out. Turn the lights off, pack everything up. And then some of the homies get off the table and they start walking over towards us and they put like a bandana on.
Oh, fuck.
And we're like, frick, like, all right, like, and he's like, yo, like, he's like, yo, like, give me the camera to the filmer. And it was our homie Corey. And he's like, what? Like, no. And then he pulls out a gun
Oh,
and
fuck.
it's dark out, right? And we're like, oh shoot, like, I think he pulled out, like, I think he pulled the gun out, and like for whatever reason, he's like, give me the camera. He goes to get the camera, or actually, they took two of our homies' phones, and they went to get the camera, and the filmer smacked him in the head with a board, but he like threw it and smacked him. So I don't know really what happened, like what part of the board hit him, and we bailed. We literally just ran. And I think so they ended up getting the camera. We had like the generator, pushing the generator down the street on the boards, like we all skirted off. And it kind of all happened so fast, whatever. Everybody was all good. Nothing happened. Camera got jacked.
Oh,
Damn.
And nobody got like beat up or anything like that. And camera got jacked, long story short. And then we found the dude on Facebook. He posted on Facebook like because there was like a local kid there just hanging out in the park watching us skate, and I think he knew him, so he told us his name or something like that. And so you like look him up on Facebook, whatever. He posts on Facebook that he's shooting a music video in the park, and he needs people to show up, whatever. Call the detective because obviously he reported the camera being stolen, especially with like a gun and this and that. We were like tripping out. And fast forward, cops get the kid. He's 17, so he's a juvenile. He's 17, and turns out it was a fake gun.
no.
Oh, oh,
But
shit.
but you can't, you know what I mean? It just
That's
was
too
like,
risky at night. Yeah.
no, for sure. And the kid went to juvenile for a bit, or juvie for a bit, and he got paid for the camera. He was getting checks like every so often for the camera. I don't know if he ended up like breaking even for it or what, but
Hmm.
that was the story. Yeah, and we're like, all right, cool. We're never going back here again.
Fucking hell.
Damn. That's
But
crazy.
yeah, it was just one of those stories. Like everything like kind of happened so fast. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Mhm.
he definitely like threw the board at the dude and just like bailed. I don't remember if he like took the camera, like took his backpack, or if he took the camera out of his hand or what, but they ended up with the camera and we all just like bolted.
Mhm.
Rolling the Jenny when you think you might get shot. Like, yo, I'm out, yo. Fuck the
Yo,
Jenny.
No, we need the
Fuck.
Jenny.
But I
Who
think it
went back
was,
and got that thing, bro? That's the real MVP. The guy
bro, I
pushing
think
the
it
Jenny.
was, but I think it was all LRG's like lights and Jenny, you know what I mean?
Uh,
So it's like, uh, we're like, dude, what are we gonna do? Just, I don't know. We just like somehow got everything except for the camera and the phones,
mhm.
Yeah.
but it was
That's
Well,
pretty
crazy.
hectic.
Glad
The
y'all
worst part
made
about
it.
running is the slowest ones getting caught, man. We almost got like attempted jumped one time, and one of our homies was on crutches, and everyone just was like, yo, peace to the homie on crutches. Yo, we out.
Yo,
Bro.
you just left them?
Yeah, and he became homies with the other squad, you know? They're like, we ain't gonna beat you up. You on crutches, dude.
Okay. They didn't beat him. They felt bad for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, dang, your homies just left you. We'll kick it with you.
He with
Instead of
us
beat
now.
you up.
Yeah. Shit. How about your interesting table session with Matt Miller? What's the story there?
I didn't even skate the table. We were it was a DC session, right? Matt Miller was filming for his part, and Taylor was getting DCs at the time. And we would skate with Chris Ray a lot and stuff like that. So we would all like go on the sessions, me and the brothers, and maybe even a couple of the homies. And we've been on a couple Miller sessions before. And he's tried the trick like previously. I think he was trying to do the Nollie 270 switchback nose blunt on the table. And I didn't know, like, I wasn't thinking, whatever. Like, we pull out the table, and I didn't know, like, dude, I was so young at the time and just like oblivious, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know that, like, oh, like skater madness or like whatever, you know? And for whatever reason, I'm like looking at the table, and for me, obviously, because I don't really skate tables, like, especially like that, I'm like, yo, this table, I was like, table's kind of long, no? Like, it's a little like, whatever. I think I might have said something about like the legs sticking out, like, you know, when there's a space and you kind of like, oh, you don't want your foot to get caught in between the table, right? Or between the bench.
Mm-hmm.
I think I said something like that. And like, we just brought the table out into the middle of the schoolyard, and like Miller heard me say that and like bugged him out. You know what I mean? He like couldn't try the trick after that. Couldn't try the trick. And I think he was like complaining to Taylor, like, dude, your freaking brother, like, he said this and that, like he messed up my whole session, like was pissed at me, you know? And Taylor was like, yo, like, how are you gonna like in his, I don't think he ever said anything, you know, because he was like trying to get on DC, but he's like, yo, how are you gonna like complain to me about my brother and just be hating on him to me, you know what I mean? Like, it was like a weird like situation, you know, but like end of the day, I think he like used that as an excuse to not try the trick.
Mm.
And I apologized to him, and I like, you know, actually I learned a lesson from that day that like, all right, cool, like keep your thoughts to yourself. If they're like kind of negative or something like that, like kind of like I learned after that, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
whatever. Just a kid like not even thinking, whatever. And he ended up doing the trick a different day, I believe. He didn't try it that day. We left.
Yeah, I feel like I could picture him doing that in a
Mhm.
part. So
Yeah. So,
it's
but
all
yeah,
good.
and
Worked out.
it worked out, you know, it's all good for sure. But I definitely like remember, and I felt bad, you know. I'm like, dang, dude, like, all right, like keep these things to myself. Don't
Yeah,
wanna
like
don't wanna throw off the vibe, you know.
get to a rail with Nigel, you're like, yeah, like sacking on this would be so shitty, but like it's probably very likely. He's like,
Yeah,
what?
exactly, you know, and he's thinking like he's not even thinking about sacking at all.
Yeah.
So that
Take
happened, you know.
take me back to a 5-stair